Alright, so it's day, I believe, 21 on the tour, and I have arrived in Kyoto. Despite the odds, everything's gone to plan, bar some slight modifications. So I'm here for the whole day. I've had a full day's rest, which was nice. The night before, I got bitten by bed bugs like mad, so I'm not going to name drop the place. I'm just going to let them know about what happened. But yeah, I'm now at the Ijo Temple or Castle, so I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna try to enjoy my day today and not really vlog much, but I contradict everything I say, so we'll see how this works out. So I'm wandering the grounds of Nijo Castle, or the secondary residence here in Kyoto. The first rule is take your shoes off right at the door. The second rule is watch and respect the photo taking outside of the castles, but unfortunately you can't take any photos inside. And there's a lot of restoration going on here. It is the winter time, it's January, slow season, so it makes sense for that to be occurring right now. But still worth checking out regardless. Whatever time you want to come here, definitely come. It's a very peaceful and serene place. A little cold, but that's to be expected at this time of year. But if you don't like crowds, get here in the winter time. So I've been in Kyoto for about 3 hours, or at least enjoying the city for about 3 hours, and just came back from the Kyoto Palace. And now I'm in the middle of this section of parkland that runs north-south through the city and features a river that runs through it, and also some unique little challenges, such as these stones that intersect the river. But as much as I'd like to be looking at you while I do this, as you can see, it is a little complicated at parts. But yeah, it goes all the way down there. Not sure how far it goes up, but I believe it goes to the Imperial Palace. We'll give that a go here. So yeah, so far I've not fallen into the drink. And let's try to keep that as a theme for today. So the thing about Japan is that it's so easy to travel in this country when you take the Shinkansen, that you can get to a place like Kyoto from Tokyo in probably a little over 3 hours. So at the end of the day, I've got 9 days in this city, in this country, and I think I'm obviously going to touch the surface of some of the places that I'm checking out. So I come from a very bustly city that is rapidly turning into a New York type of place, where it's just very insular as far as people is concerned. It's go, go, go. This city, in contrast to Tokyo, while still being massive, is way more traditional, laid back, quiet. It is a Sunday, so I'm not getting the full impression of what the place would be like. On Monday I will get that, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But so far I'm very impressed, and I would love to spend a couple more days here. I've only done a couple of attractions, so they seem to be, bicycles are everywhere on the footpaths. But you know, they'll stop, and they'll even stop for you to take a photo, which is kind of cool. It's something that you just don't get at home. It's a common courtesy. I enjoy the fact that all the service people bow to those people that are customers in the restaurants, trains, whatever have you. There's a lot of respect in this culture that is really just worth traveling to enjoy. It is a beautiful day in Kyoto. The sun is coming out intermittently, but it's very acceptable weather. I haven't got gloves on, I'm fine. I got coffee, but you know where it's from. But I've been walking around because I'm just basically just finding stuff intuitively, and I'm now at the Imperial Palace, which, to be honest with you, if you're gonna walk around, these places are a lot bigger than you think. Yeah, it's absolutely enormous. So don't think it's open today, unfortunately, which might be all right, because I only have about 17 temples to go to. Also, just in this park alone, it is Sunday, so there's a lot of people out with their cameras. I consider myself a professional photographer, but at the same time, I don't have 800mm lenses like these guys have that they're just carrying around with their tripods and getting super shots. So I'm gonna use the iPhone because it doesn't really matter. There are people that are covering this a lot better than I will, that just have the convenience of having their studios just down the street or something like that. I also would love to get a deal on one of those lenses, but maybe the next time that I'm here, I will take the time to get some really creative shots. But if you want to get something really effective, you got to be here before the crowds get here and that kind of thing. Although today, that is not the case. So yeah, let's continue on this shrine, temple, and palace tour. So it is open, so we're going to go inside and check out the original Imperial Palace. So we're in the palace now, and what's nicely refreshing, a very sort of quick security check to get inside, which is understandable, and then you get a lanyard, make you feel like you're at a convention, and it's free of charge, which is also really excellent, because I know that the temples are not. It's clearly marked as well to show you a preferred route, much like the Kyoto Palace as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go check this place out. It's quite vast, so it's probably about an hour or more they'll be here. Yet another thing to note about being at a place like the Kyoto Imperial Palace is that you better do your research before coming here, because you could basically spend the whole day reading everything. If you know what you're looking at, you're going to know, have a good idea of what to expect and to appreciate it. But if you're doing it in a quick tour like I'm doing in like an hour, you're basically just observing the space without knowing much about the history behind it. So again, it being the winter season, I would love to see this place in the summer, so I will definitely be doing that for my next visit. Alright, it's been about a half an hour. We're headed back in the opposite direction. It only took about that, it was pretty quick. Mostly buildings, in fact none of them are open today. I don't know if that's different in different times of the year, but you can basically do the grounds if you want at a leisurely pace in a half an hour's time. The shrine that I went to, I forgot to bow at before I left, so I'm actually headed back to that shrine, and then I'll go to the other palace, and then I'm going to head out of here to do some shrines and temples in the other sections of the city. I was looking at doing 5 attractions today. It looks like I'm going to be able to do that, no problem, but I am going to have to pick one side of town with shrines and temples to do, and then tomorrow morning I can get up early, maybe do 2 or 3 in the morning before I head to Osaka. So let's see how this turns out. Obviously there's not that many crowds. In fact, there's no crowds here as compared to what we dealt with in Tokyo, so it's quite manageable if that's what you're looking to do. I wouldn't say book a day in Kyoto, that's certainly not the case, but if you just want to do a couple of the attractions, 2 days will definitely be enough, like I have, to cover a little bit of the atmosphere and essentials of Kyoto. So I just got on this bus to get to the temple Kinkakuji. I'll probably pronounce that better in a second, but the main point is that I accidentally tapped my Passmo on the bus, and you're supposed to do that at the end of your trip, and he was nice enough to wait for me to get to my intended stop and then wave me on because I already paid for the fare. So again, just the customer service here in Japan is just second to none. I'm really, really happy with so far. It's been pretty easy to get place to place with like Google Maps and stuff like that, but it's just those small details that really make places like this better than most of the places I've ever been. And let's go to a temple. I'm just gonna follow the lead. You know, pretty much you follow where everybody's going or a flag, and you know that you're heading in the right direction as soon as you get to the stop you're going to. Okay, so we got our ticket for Kinkakuji. It's the coolest ticket I've ever seen, and the crowds have definitely caught up with me today. They're all here. So this is one of the biggest attractions in Kyoto. So let's take it in. So we kind of got like perfect light on the temple right now, so it is a mad scramble, as you can see, to get a good spot of the temple at this time of day. But that can be expected, I guess. It's only 400 yen to get this shot, so at the end of the day, hopefully I get something decent. We're getting like 3 different seasons in one day here too. It's raining now, it's sunny over there. It's cold suddenly too, but for what we have, it's worth it. It may seem peaceful, but the crowds are quite intense. Obviously the weather has slowed down some of them, so I'm trying to keep ahead. Quite a quick experience, even with the crowds. It's about, I'd say, 20 minutes at most. You take it all in, everybody gets their photos, and then they hit on the bus right over there, out of here. So that's it for the Kukukijan temple. And there's actually a shrine and another temple very close to here, the next two that I hit up, and I might be able to make it to the forest that's very nearby and to finish my night or my day and then begin my night. Even though I've had a bit more sleep, I'm still tripping over my words. There will be a theme throughout this tour for sure. Okay, so this is the Hirano Jinja shrine. It's a smaller shrine outside the city of Kyoto, or just on the outskirts. And as you can see, there's barely anybody here. So if you're looking for an authentic shrine experience, you should probably try to get to a place like this. It's definitely, we're in a situation where we're getting tremendous light here too, so the photo opportunities are just second to none. And they don't charge to visit a shrine, so if you are looking for a bit of a different, more local experience, you definitely should come here. There's many located throughout the city. In fact, I've already been to the smaller one at the Imperial Palace, so I'm going to continue on this journey to a temple which will not be as cheap. It is the first Sunday of the new year, so it's a very local affair coming to these smaller temples, which we're at right now. The name of which I will update in a moment. But there's plenty of local traffic here, all paying their respects to the temple itself and making their offerings and getting good fortune for the new year. I have hit a bunch of these places already, so I'm intending to focus that on the smaller places that I hit. It's an equivalent of going to a church at home, so it is good. There are so many people here paying their respects for the Year of the Pig. They're not really doing it, they're not taking pictures inside, so I'm going to avoid, I could be in there for the full day just taking pictures, but I'm not going to be bothering to do that much anymore. It's obviously a special time of year, so it's probably better that I stick to what the locals are doing. But even outside the temple, there's just a myriad of things. But unfortunately, my poor memory cards are just not going to be able to keep up with the amount of stuff that I could take pictures of right now. And we're getting this magical light because with the rain and the clouds and the sun just going down now, it's hard to time things out because you get like an incredible shot and then it's gone in a matter of seconds. So I'm just going to take in the atmosphere because there's one thing I don't like is staring at a cell phone or a camera while around you have incredible things going on around you. So I'm going to take in a bit more of this, hopefully get to the forest as well before I do another couple of temples and shrines tomorrow. I might be able to fit one more in today, who knows. Literally shrines everywhere in this city, so this one has no one in it. It's just a tiny one. Still not taking pictures inside. We just had a quick little visit. I'm doing, because it is a Sunday and obviously a religious holiday, or just and also a national holiday as well. I'm going to skip going to the temple that I was planning on going to at the end, because it's a very popular site. So it'll be a Monday morning tomorrow. I can go and do it tomorrow, and hopefully I'll miss a lot of the crowds. Have more time to enjoy it. I'll bike, and I can do a little bit more around that area because it's on the opposite end of the city as well. So I'm taking the risk, and I'm going to a forest. It's 4 o'clock. There's like an hour left of sunlight. So if I get to this subway in time, I should be able to hit the forest in 20 minutes and capture a bit of light there, hopefully before the end of the day. But also get to enjoy these small little Kyoto streets as well. Okay, like seriously, there are so many small spots. If you just go down a side street, you just run into temples. Just came out of another one. It's overwhelming, but this is definitely the Japan that I thought I'd be experiencing. But it's not really in Tokyo, it's here in Kyoto. And that shouldn't be surprising considering it was the capital far before Tokyo was. So, but not only does it have all these shrines and temples, but all the buildings, it's just really indicative of what Japan to me was going to be about. Instead of the modern sort of reconstruction of what Tokyo has had, this city is definitely intact. It has its historical heritage intact as well. So if you're coming to Japan, you kind of have to come to Kyoto to get the real thing, because this is definitely what I was looking for. Got off one stop too many for my next destination. Doesn't matter light-wise because the sun is pretty much already down anyway, but I do get the benefit of this, which is this incredible little valley. But I do need to, as much as I want to appreciate it more, I need to get the next train coming down, so I gotta get out of here. So yes, this stop is basically in the middle of nowhere. We're only one stop away from like the metropolis of Kyoto, which is like 5 minutes down this tunnel, but and there's a tunnel on both sides. So yeah, this station is basically a bridge in the valley. I don't know what its service is, but I just find it rather amazing that just, you know, a 5-minute train ride out of the city and you're in the middle of wilderness. Because this is a wilderness. If I'm stuck here for the night, it's not going to be nice, but apparently the train is coming. It's a local train will be here in 3 minutes time, so I'll still get to my destination with a little bit of light. But this side of the valley, as you can see, there are some roads up there, and this structure here is just a retaining wall, but it's quite amazing to see. Now this lady's saying this train is coming this way. This train is probably not going to stop. It's probably going to blast right through the station as the last one did. Or that little chime. Yeah, it's stopping despite the last one not. This one is, which is kind of a little unusual. Because I would assume that it would be express local. But that is not the case. This one is stopped. Hopefully I can update from my intended destination in a few minutes time, because yeah, it's getting a little cold out here, so we shall see. Random train platform update. Hopefully this train will stop. I'm not entirely sure, but it's moving a lot slower than the last one was, and that chime usually I think indicates that things are all good. Now the train is shorter than the platform as well, so you kind of have to situate yourself in the right spot in order to get onto it. It's about half the length of this platform. So it's slowing down, so it looks like we are good. Okay, so I'm now in the middle of nowhere, Arishiniyama Saga. It's like a quiet little community town, and every time I try to film, there's a car behind me. But it's very narrow streets, and it's very much a residential area. But again, there are little shrines, as always, in this town. So let's see where it's going to take us. There's only one bridge that goes across the river, which is just ahead of me, so I have to go on a bit of walk to get there. So I'll update once again. the sake is beautiful and a little intimidating. So I've had 2 traditional meals in Kyoto now, and I must say I don't think I want to come back because this cuisine is going to change what I eat for the rest of my life. It's not fun. It's just that good. And handling the sake. So Kyoto is known for its shrines, temples. I've been to 2 different restaurants for dinner that were traditional Japanese meals, and I don't think I've had better meals. They're definitely in the top 10 in my life. This place behind me makes its own noodles out of buckwheat. They do not serve gluten intolerant people. They just flat out will not do it. It's part of the experience in this restaurant. It was just unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. I wish I had taken more video of the interior because it was fabulous. Kyoto, what can I say? It's just blown me away. It is a beautiful day in Kyoto, and I'm on my way to temple number, I don't know, because I've been to so many, and a couple shrines as well. Let's begin. No bike? Thank you. It is important to observe in Kyoto that there are certain areas where you can not ride your bike and you have to walk it, as I'm doing, especially close to the shrine or temple that you are going to. You'll notice a large crowd, so there'll be bicycle parking spots. They'll kindly show you the way. There are also some streets that you can't ride your bike or bring your bike at all. So important to look out for that. Yesterday I said I'd come to the Fushimi Inari shrine looking for smaller crowds because it's a Monday and it's the first working day of the year. Well, that could be any further from the case because it's a Monday, it's 11 o'clock, and this place is packed, just like any of the shrines that were yesterday. So let's go in, we'll get the experience. There are no slow days. So to be honest with you, this is a very overwhelming experience. It's probably the most intensive shrine that I've been to. A lot of the ceremony you can't actually shoot, and they're pretty strict with that, so the tourists can't actually go into the main offering area or worshiping area. There's actually ceremonies going on. The one I just witnessed, performance, an offering. I'll look more into that later, but I didn't get to shoot it, so it doesn't really matter. You're not going to see that. But behind me, there's a lot of activity today. For a Monday, it is still clearly a significant day in the calendar. It's been a long time since Hong Kong, but here we are for climb number 5, Fushimi Inari Shrine. It's going to be a slow one though, because we're just going with the flow of traffic, which is perfectly fine. If you're just running, which you're not really supposed to do here anyway, you would just run into all the people taking pictures. So let's take it easy on this one. For example, two paths. So we're almost at the top here, or at least I think. A lot of people struggling to get up here, but to be honest with you, I'm not finding it really that difficult. There's enough rest areas, but we still have a far ways to go. We'll get there, no problem. So here we are at the summit. Piece of cake after Hong Kong. This is nothing. But yeah, you get the crowds are a bit spread out up here, so it's definitely worth it if you can manage. So that's it from the summit here. I'm going to make my way back down and enjoy the views. I'll cut in a couple photos as well, the experience overall. So here's a nice little tip. Get yourself to the top of the mountain and then keep going and go down, because in this area there's nobody here. There's literally not a soul. So you can get some great shots like the one I just did a second ago. And this is why you travel off the beaten path, because now we're in a small little shrine area with nobody here except locals. There's only like 4 people here. Meanwhile, there's thousands up on the other side. Not everyone has the gusto to get up to the top, so if you wait long enough, you'll get a couple of peaceful moments up here, even though further down there's plenty of tourists. I'll probably wrap it up from here as I go to the top. I'll just get a couple shots as I make my way back down. Despite there being an admission charge, still a reasonable 400 yen. There are plenty of opportunities to spend more money here at the temple, which obviously is good for upkeep and such, but you better have your charms and your good luck gestures slash whatever you want to invest for prosperity and good times sort of prioritized, because you could spend a whole lot of time visiting a lot of temples and shrines, spending a fair amount of money. So this is the view that we came for, though, so let's check it out. So unfortunately today the main temple is under renovation, as you can see behind me. Still an impressive structure from the inside. Would I pay the 400 yen and come out here just for this experience over the shrine I just came from? No, I would probably spend more time at the shrine. This is a pretty quick experience, as it seems most temples are. So you pay more and you get less. So take that into consideration. I think the shrines are the outright winner when it comes to Kyoto. That being said, if the renovations weren't going on, I still would be on the fence if I had to choose. In fact, I wouldn't be on the fence. I would just choose the shrine from the experience that I just had anyway. So yeah, make yourself at the shrines. Temples are the lower priority. Yeah, so that's it. I'm on my way out now. It's been half an hour that I've spent on the grounds, basically. There's not much to see. There's a couple of cool, interesting little setups behind me, though. Obviously very traditional. This kind of feels like a cosplay situation, though, because there's hundreds of geishas here, and yeah, I'm just not getting it, really. But you know, for some it might be an important type of experience, but I'm probably going to hit shrines primarily when I'm back in Kyoto. And I definitely will be back in Kyoto because I'm already 2 to 3 hours over my allotted time frame. I think as well that the reason why, obviously you get a great view of Kyoto from the top at the temple, but I believe because it's a much easier climb to get up here than it is the shrine, that people tend to gravitate towards this particular area more. But I could be wrong, I could be missing something. But yeah, it's a bit touristy. I have all these tables available for service here behind me. But, and then finally you have your drinking area as well. So that'll be it from the temple. That'll be it from temples, and possibly from Japan for this trip, as Osaka is not really known for their temples. Alright, so that's a wrap for Kiyomizu-dera. Where I'm standing, you don't actually have to pay admission to get into the grounds. It's actually kind of unusual. You can really pass a gate to get out. But would I come back? Probably not on my priority list of the big 4 attractions, or big 5, really, at the in Kyoto itself. Everyone seems to come here just to get this picture. The light is perfect right now, so I'm going to get out of the way for some of these people so they can get what they need. But yeah, you don't have to pay anything to come up here and actually visit the front gate of the temple itself. So is it worth it? Well, if you've come here dressed up for the occasion, then obviously you need to get here. But personally, very touristy. There are lots of stores and stalls, as mentioned, on the way in to this area, overpriced as well. So I would probably give it a miss, other than to just come up here and get a picture of that view, as you can see everybody here is doing. So that's a wrap from here, and I will recap later my impressions of the main attractions of Kyoto that I have experienced. For now, it's time to get on a train to Osaka.